So here is the first of a series of 4 video presentations that deal with the revision of Anton Chekhov's famous one-act play, The Bear. So we are going to discuss 3 important essays. Essay number 1, the first one. So this is the complete essay in 5 paragraphs in about 399 words. 5 paragraphs. The first paragraph is an introduction. 2, 3 and 4 form the body of the essay, and the last one is conclusion. Question: Anton Chekhov's one-act play, The Bear, starts in a tragic situation, passes through a quarrel, and ends in a comedy. Discuss. So this is the course of the one-act play. It begins in a tragic situation, then there is a quarrel, a fight, almost a duel, which ends up in a farce, a comedy. That's it. So this is the essay. Question. Well, this is the structure of the essay with important points. Paragraph number 1, a brief introduction, 3 characters, Mrs. Popov, Mr. Smirnov, Luka. It's a light-hearted comedy, hilarious plot. It makes people laugh, hilarious. A tragic situation, quarrel, comedy. Paragraph number 2, about Mrs. Popov, a widow in mourning. Luka, the servant's advice, but Popov is unchanged. Paragraph number 3, Smirnov, a landowner, retired from military, a lieutenant. 1,200 rubles due from Mrs. Popov's husband, who is no more. Demands immediate payment. He's very stubborn. Also makes fun of Popov's mourning, but she calls him a bear. Paragraph number 4, Smirnov criticizes women, and in return, Popov denounces men. Her husband was very disloyal and cruel, and then there is a verbal duel, a verbal duel between Smirnov and Mrs. Popov. And the last paragraph, Popov challenges Smirnov to a duel. She brings husband's revolver, but doesn't know how to shoot. Smirnov gives lessons in shooting, but during the practice, the training, well, he makes love. At first, Popov rejects, but when she learns about Smirnov's financial position, wealth, she relents, she agrees, and they embrace and kiss, and thus the one-act play has a farcical end. Paragraph number 1. Anton Chekhov's one-act play, The Bear, revolves around 3 characters: Mrs. Popov, a widow, Mr. Smirnov, a landowner, and Luka, a footman, a servant of Popov. It is a light-hearted comedy. A farce is a light-hearted comedy with a hilarious plot, a story that makes people laugh. It usually involves exaggerated and improbable events. It starts in a tragic situation, passes through a quarrel, and ends in comedy. This is the question. Paragraph number 2. Popov is a widow whose husband died 7 months ago. She is still mourning. She has decided to cut off herself from the outside world. She has ordered her servant Luca not to allow anybody to see her. But Luca, the servant, dislikes the mourning condition of his mistress. He advises Mrs. Popo her that she should change her decision. However, Popo declares her determination not to forget her husband till she breathes her last. Luca quotes his own example and tells her that his wife had also died. He mourned her a month, and that was enough. He could not grieve for her throughout his life. So, Luca advises her to visit the neighborhood and meet the young army officers in the neighborhood, as she is still very young and can attract many young people. But Popo remains unchanged. She is not ready to budge, to change. At this time, Smirnov enters Popo's house. Who is he? He is a landowner who has lent 1200 rubles, the Russian currency, to Popo's late husband, the husband who is dead, Nikolai. Before he died, he demands the money at once. He says, I want the money now, because his creditors are waiting. Popo tells him that she has no money at the moment, as her manager is out of the city. When her manager returns, she says she will pay the money. Smirnov insists on getting the money immediately. He says, I need the money now. He also makes fun of Popo's mourning. He refuses to leave her house until she pays all the money. Both Popo and Smirnov are very stubborn. They are, unyielding. They stick to their guns. Popo requests him not to disturb her, and she calls him a coarse bear. So it is from here that the play gets its title. Smirnov criticizes women in general. He calls women insincere, cruel, and vainglorious. They think too much of themselves. Popo, in turn, calls men cruel and faithless. She says her own late husband had illegal relations with many women. He was also insincere. Smirnov behaves rudely, and Popo tells him that decent people do not behave with women in this rough manner. They angrily engage in a verbal duel, a verbal fight. Popo challenges Smirnov to an actual duel. So let's fight. Let's have a duel, she says. She brings her husband's revolver, but unfortunately, she does not know how to shoot. Smirnov teaches her how to shoot, but during this training session, Smirnov falls in love with Popov. He kneels before her and swears his love. At first, Popov refuses, but later, when he describes his financial status, she accepts the proposal. When the servants of Popov arrive to beat Smirnov, well, they are surprised to see that Popov and Smirnov are in each other's arm. They are embracing. Thus, the play comes to a farcical end. We'll have a hearty laugh. The people, it makes us laugh. That is the first essay. And the second essay, the significance of the title of Chekhov's one-act play, The Bear. How significant is the title? What is important? Well, this is the essay in 5 paragraphs. As you know, paragraph number 1, introduction, last one, conclusion, and 3 paragraphs that form the body of the essay. Well, this is the structure of the essay. The abstract points. Paragraph number 1. As I said, introduction. Title, Popov's reference to Smirnov. It is from that reference that the play gets its title, The Bear. Smirnov is crude and unpolished, like the untidy and filthy bear. Paragraph number 2. Smirnov. He comes there to collect money. Popov is mourning. She is unable to pay the money, but Smirnov is very stubborn, insists. There's a heated exchange and rude remarks at Mrs. Popov. Paragraph number 3. Smirnov is ill-mannered. He enters home without permission and he is unwilling to leave. He says, I won't go without money. Very aggressive and impolite as well. Paragraph number 4. Popov calls Smirnov a brute, a bear, a boor. She uses the word boor 3 times. Boor, boor, boor. And paragraph number 5, the last paragraph, the height of conflict in the play, with an ironic end. It is an irony because while a duel with the viewers, we expect a fight between the 2 persons, but instead of a fight, well, there is love making, embrace, kiss, and other petty things. They embrace and kiss. So the essay ends like that. Paragraph number 1. The title of Anton Chekhov's one-act play, The Bear, comes from Mrs. Popov's reference to Mr. Smirnov. She remarks that Smirnov is a crude man, a bear and a boor, who does not know how to treat women, who does not know how to behave. A bear is considered to be an untidy and filthy animal. It's unclean, very filthy and dirty animal. The physical appearance of Smirnov is not much different from that of a bear. Paragraph number 2. Smirnov enters Popov's home. For what? To collect the money her late husband owes him. Popov is mourning the departure of her husband, and she has cut short all her social interactions. She tells him, Mrs. Popov tells Smirnov, that she is unable to make the payment immediately. Why? Because her manager is out of station. She agrees to pay him after 2 days when her manager comes back. But Smirnov insists on getting the money soon. No, I should get the money now, he says. The situation leads to a heated exchange between the two. There's a quarrel. The conflict makes him frustrated. He is unable to control himself. Well, he loses his control and he makes very bad, sarcastic and rude remarks. 3. Smirnov's ill-mannered nature becomes clear when he enters Popov's drawing room without permission. Well, to enter a house without permission is not good. It is indecent, uncultured. Similarly, his stubbornness becomes evident when he insists on staying there when Popov requests him to go out. Being irrational. He is irrational, sentimental, and aggressive. He does not behave gently to Popov. He behaves indecently. He calls her disobedient, faithless, and insincere. He speaks to her very, very impolitely, that she is compelled to treat him in the same manner, and she pays back in the same coin. Popov says that Smirnov is like a brute, like an animal that does not understand her sad plight, her sad condition. She believes that he is insensitive. Smirnov rebukes, scolds her, and taunts and insults Popov in such a harsh manner that the latter, that is Popov, calls him a rude and ill-bred man, an uncultured man, an uncivilized man. She also calls him a bear and a boor repeatedly. Smirnov becomes even more aggressive and angry when Popov orders her servant, Luka, to send him out of the house. Well, the conclusion, the title, The Bear, it captures the height of the conflict. It is also ironic. What's the irony? Because the duo, the two people, Smirnov and Popov, eventually fall in love. Well, they were fighting. All of a sudden, they fall in love and they embrace and kiss and are found in each other's arms at the end of the play. That is why, well, the play has an ironic ending. Well, that's the end of the second essay. And now we come to the third essay. Well, it is consider Anton Chekhov's one-act play The Bear as a farce. A farce. Well, this is the essay. As I said, in 5 paragraphs, paragraph number 1 and paragraph number 5, introduction and conclusion, and 3 paragraphs that make up the body of the essay. Here is the structure of the essay. Paragraph number 1, a brief introduction about farce. What is farce? A light-hearted comedy which is hilarious, that makes people laugh, exaggeration, and improbable, not likely to happen. Most of the things in the play are not likely to happen, are improbable in ordinary life situations, ridiculous and humorous, makes people laugh. The situations, characters, the weaknesses, well, all these things make people laugh, make the viewers laugh heartily. Well, what is the intention of the playwright? Is to reform, reformation, to reform the society, to cure the society of its evils, weaknesses. Paragraph number 2. 3 characters, Popov, Smirnov, and Luka. What about the theme? It is a romantic advancement. Luka advises her with his own example. His wife died, but I mourned a month, not more than that. Paragraph number 3. Popov is young and beautiful. Her husband died. She is mourning. Husband was unfaithful and cruel. But Popov has a holier-than-thou attitude. She has a holier-than-thou attitude. She thinks that she is better than other people. Holier than thou, you. False courage she has. Ignorant, because she brings the revolver to fight, but she doesn't know how to shoot. A teaching and learning takes place, the training session takes place. Well, all these are the right ingredients for farce to make people laugh. Paragraph number 4. Smirnov's entry into the house, behavior, his action, dialogue, everything is farcical. Husband's revolver is brought in by Mrs. Popov, and what follows, the closing scene, the last scene is completely farcical. It makes people laugh. Paragraph number 5. Well, the conclusion. Comic characters, situations, dialogues, all these evoke a lot of laughter. And the weaknesses of the Russian aristocracy, they are, held up for ridicule, satirized. So that's the essay. Now, paragraph number 1. Anton Chekhov's one-act play, The Bear, is a farce. Now, what's a farce? A farce is a light-hearted comedy that centers around a hilarious plot, a laughable plot. It usually involves exaggerated and improbable events, events that are not likely to happen. There are ridiculous situations involving humorous characters with weaknesses that produce laughter. The playwright intends to hold up these weaknesses for ridicule, thereby to reform the society. This is the intention, this is the objective, the aim of the playwright. 2. Paragraph number 2. In the play, all three characters, Mrs. Popov, Smirnov, and Luka, behave and speak in funny ways. The theme is romantic advancement between Popov and Smirnov through strange, not normal situations, strange situations. At the beginning, Luka, the servant of Popov, advises her to stop the long mourning for the death of her husband. He cites his own example in a humorous way. My own wife died. I mourned for a month, not more than that. He says, Popov, who is she? A young and beautiful widow. Young and beautiful. Her husband died 7 months ago. She shuts herself up in her four walls. Her fake mourning, it is not sincere mourning. Fake mourning is farcical. In mourning, while mourning, she accuses her husband of being unfaithful and cruel. So here we can find what? A mix of the serious and the funny. She says to Luka, let his ghost see how well I love him. Her holier-than-thou attitude is comic. She thinks that she is better than other people, holier than thou. Her false courage, well, she thinks that she is very courageous, but she is not. False courage. Challenge to fight. She challenges Murno to fight. Confession of ignorance of shooting. She says, I don't know how to shoot. And lessons in fighting, the training session that end up in petty love scenes, all make up what? The right ingredients of a comedy intended to make people laugh. Smirnov's entry, his behavior, action, and dialogue, everything produce plenty of laughter. He says to Popov, have you ever seen a woman who was sincere, faithful, and constant? He puts this question, have you ever seen a woman who was sincere, faithful, and constant? Then he proposes to her. He says like this, I have refused 12 women. 9 have refused me. 9 women have refused me. But I never loved one of them as I love you. I love you dearly. The funniest situation comes when Popov brings her husband's revolver, as she invites him for a duel. She challenges him. She challenges Smirnov for a duel. And she comes in with her husband's revolver and asks Smirnov to teach her how to fire. That's very funny. The closing scene produces unending laughter when Popov says to Luka, Toby isn't to have any oats at all today. Don't give any oats today to Toby. Well, that feeling, that attachment, that memory, it has given way to new feelings, new emotions, the love. And here is the conclusion. Thus, the play The Bear can be rightly called a farce. It is full of comic characters, situations, and dialogues that evoke laughter. The aim of Chekhov is to satirize, to ridicule what? The weaknesses of the Russian aristocracy. That's the end of the third essay and the end of the session.